Next time on Star Trek The Next Generation.
Captain, we're passing warp 5.
A warp speed malfunction hurls the Enterprise to the far reaches of space.
Data, what distance have we traveled?
2,700,000 light years, sir.
To a galaxy where the crew's thoughts...
This can't be. You've been...
Dead.
...become reality. It's a spellbinding journey where none have gone before on the next exciting episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Boom. It's already on. It's already happening.
Fantastic. Let's get going.
How have you guys been?
Pretty good.
It's been a long time. 20 days,
has
I
been.
think.
Indeed. I've been farming today.
Really?
Farming?
Farming, yes. I'm very tired.
Like actual farming, or more like being in an MMO and collecting gold?
Render farming? No, really, actually, we like dirt and plants and those kind of things.
All right.
Oh, nice.
I'm surprised you're able to. Isn't it winter there?
Yeah, but we just got 150 meters farm. I guess that doesn't mean much to you, but like a farm the size of an apartment, basically, and it's full of weeds, so plenty of work to do.
I love your casual disregard for our ability to understand the metric system.
Yeah. The sad
Do you
thing
know how
is-
much 150 meters is?
I
You
got
know-
a rough idea in my head.
Yeah?
I mean, the truth is
I
that
don't know anything about whatever strange foreign system you're using.
I can't really visualize 150 meters or 150 feet anyway. So sort of like
Well, I think
like-
my analogy is relatable. It's about one apartment size.
yeah, but like
Farm.
apartments can vary pretty wildly. Like, is this
Yeah.
is
Okay.
this a studio apartment or is this a 3-bedroom?
2-bedroom apartment, or two to 3 bedroom
Is
apartment.
it
I would say.
like a penthouse suite?
without like an extra floor that's like, halfway towards the ceiling, those kind of things.
Like a
We don't have
sunken
that. A
bathroom?
mezzanine.
Like a
It's not.
statue?
The farm doesn't have a mezzanine.
Does it have a statue?
I think it's a standard Boston house plot.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But
Okay.
the farm is about 1.2 standard Boston apartment size.
That's
Units.
Thank you for putting it in terms that I can understand.
That's relatable, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So welcome to Trek Trudge. This is the 5th episode. My name is Byron Hussey.
Thanks for welcoming us.
Thanks. Thanks for thanking me for thanking you.
You're welcome.
My name is Byron Hussey. I'm hosting the show. And I'm joined by Jan Vandenhemmel.
Thanks for saying my name right.
You're welcome. Jan.
I know it's difficult for Americans.
I said Jan for a long time.
So
Yeah.
just a lot of accusations flinging our way.
Yeah.
You stupid Americans. But no,
Way
it's-
to endear our core listeners.
I discovered a trick. I just say a Y sound instead of the J sound.
Yeah, there you go.
That's- And I'm also joined by Bebarce Al-Taib.
Yet another oddly named person.
Yeah. I only podcast with people with weird names.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think I've also seen a Y Clowick every
Yeah.
now and then,
Y.
and a Nick, who one would assume Nick relates to, I guess, a male name, but is
Nope.
actually
It's
it's actually our old good
female.
friend Nick.
It's a female, as
Female.
as the Ferengi might say.
One of those oddly clothed females.
This is the 5th episode, right? We established that, the 5th episode of Star Trek, The Next
Yes.
Generation, and
Fifth.
it is
whatever.
called Where No One Has Gone Before.
It first aired October 26th, 1987.
Nice.
And the let's see what the star date is. If I can find that, I'm not finding the star date.
No, you're actively blowing it.
Yeah, well, I gave you warning. I gave you good, solid
Well,
warning yesterday.
I think I have it. It's 41263.1. This could just be like the Memory Alpha surfing podcast. Like, what is this, where does this link go?
I'm Googling Patrick Stewart hair for some reason. I don't know if I like Googling that. And there are a lot of pictures with him with hair,
Very
surprisingly.
Very apropos. So the plot of this episode, the story is that there's a sort of a science emissary or something named Kozinski. They only ever call him Kozinski. We never learn his first name. I assume that's his surname.
Yeah.
Who has been sort of making the rounds in various Starfleet vessels doing warp experiments, which are improving the efficiency of warp engines and making ships go faster. But it is mysterious.
But it seems a lot like even they regard it as somewhat pseudoscientific in his explanation. They can't figure out why his calculations or whatever he's doing are making these ships go faster.
Yeah, they run his calculations through the computer, and it turns out to be kind of gibberish. But
which I have a point to make on later on after you continue your explanation. But please continue.
Okay. So basically, it turns out that well, why don't you go ahead and make your point?
Okay. Well, so I guess to explain a little bit more about the episode, the guy Kaczynski has a assistant that comes along with him and does some manual entry of the speeds and changes and whatnot. But in fact, and here's the giveaway. It turns out it's that guy that's actually
which is like
making.
Anybody could have guessed. Like he's like this strange looking guy. So it's like, oh, he's the real magic. Come on.
Yeah.
He has hands like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yes. Which is odd because they said that he could enter things in much faster than a human can, even though he has just these fat sausage fingers, these 3 fat sausage fingers.
Yeah. I actually have a fun fact about that. The hands. The actor didn't like them. He thought they looked stupid. So
he was right.
He did everything he could to kind of hide them in scenes. So it was sort of like an editorial decision the actor made based on the low quality.
It makes sense. Him being able to quickly manipulate things faster than any human possibly could is definitely beleaguered by the fact that he has these 3 kielbasa's attached to his hands that he's trying to
If
mash.
anything, he should have like 4 arms or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been pretty cool.
Would have been an easy
And then they could have just done that easy like trick where he has a couple of puppet arms attached by strings,
Or just a guy standing behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Just like whose line is it anyway? Just some guy always behind him with his arms tucked
Colin Mockery
under his
as
armpits.
a special guest star. So where were you going with this, Bebarce?
Well, where I was going with this is that is this guy's just mere presence that is making ships go faster, then I guess my point was, why are the ships that they are leaving, the Fearless and I can't remember the other one, why are the ships that they're leaving not experiencing like immediate slowdowns in their speed once the guy's gone,
Right.
So I guess that's kind of what it was, because this guy is starting to get a little bit cocky because he's gone onto at least two other ships, Enterprise ships, and immediately improved their performance, and then has moved on to the next ship and the next ship and so on. So he's now on the Enterprise, but it was his assistant the whole time, and the presence of his assistant because he is some kind of universal traveler that can travel at the speed of thought or whatever.
Okay, so let me just step in here. So you're saying that it's an inconsistency that when he left, the ships continued to be fast.
I guess so, or that the Enterprise itself didn't maintain its speed.
Maybe it did. Did. Like, I mean, it's weird because like
that's a good point.
Presumably on the other ships, they didn't go to the edge of the universe. So what? Like, did they just go a little bit faster? Did they go faster than warp 10? What was
They
the
said
purpose of the
marked
exercise?
improvements. So
Strange. It seems like the things that happened on the Enterprise didn't happen on the other ships.
Right.
So it was just sort of like I don't know. I don't even know what they were
He
doing.
he was being distracted by Wesley. I think
And-
it's all Wesley's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wesley was all up in the traveler's personal space completely. Like he was like nose to nose. Like he was gonna Eskimo kiss the guy.
So
What does this button do? And this? That.
yeah. And
Oh, by the way,
liked it.
we were talking before, I think, about the Inland Empire, the David Lynch movie.
Yes.
And this guy, the arrogant guy, plays a character called Kakowski on Inland Empire.
It's very similar too.
Yeah,
I think it was
know.
like inspired by this role.
I wonder if David Lynch is a big TNG fan. And that's his way of paying homage.
Kaczynski also played the psychiatrist on the show Monk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is like what he's best known for.
Oh, really?
I checked the Traveler out on IMDb, and he was actually in Ghost Dad, which I guess is
I know.
near and dear to our hearts.
I wrote that down too in bold-faced
Excellent.
font. He actually,
And he's a lawyer, I think, right?
yeah, he retired
these
from
days.
acting.
He was
and-
tired of all those ridiculous hand prosthetics.
Well, he was actually originally up for the role of Data,
Yeah.
and didn't get it. But presumably, if he had gotten it, it would have been a very different trajectory for him. He probably never would have gotten into law, right?
Right.
I imagine.
Either that, or maybe like the show would have failed because he wasn't as good. I don't know. I
I
feel
don't know,
like
I
he
think
might have been better.
they're
than-
pretty good. The character actors on this show. I mean, the guest actors.
I
They're
think
pretty
I
good.
thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved the interaction. So when Kaczynski first gets on the Enterprise, there's this like immediate animosity between him and Riker, and it was lovely to see this like very contained, very restrained, like anger, this back and forth. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
So basically, they're gonna do these tests with this guy Kaczynski. Comes onto the ship with his mysterious assistant. They end up yada yada yada. They end up at the edge of the universe. Turns out he's a interdimensional traveler, maybe some kind of mysterious.
He travels at the speed of thought. So
Yeah.
that's
It's very psychedelic.
It's actually a bit similar to Solaris. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a science fiction movie from 1972, a Russian
Yeah, it's
science
Russian,
fiction
isn't it? I tried to watch it once. It was really boring.
It's I like it, but it's there's also an American remake with
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Yeah.
Maybe you can stomach that one easier. But
maybe
This, the
you
story
uncultured bastards can
maybe
can
that's
stomach it
easier.
if you throw in a pretty face.
Yeah. Well, it's like a Soviet
But it's
movie.
also like that the characters start to see things from their imagination, and they all see something different and so on.
Yeah, there was like Event Horizon. That was
Yeah, Event Horizon is kind of a rip-off of Solaris.
Yeah, it seems like it's a pretty popular theme, which is strange because it's like sort of doesn't make any sense.
Space madness.
Like, yeah, it's like that episode of Ren and Stimpy with
Yeah.
space madness. That's where they got it. So basically this episode sort of sets up a larger character arc for Wesley Crusher. This is where he becomes an acting ensign, and Traveler sort of reveals that Wesley is this prodigy where it comes to space-time, and
he's the chosen one
basically, yeah, he's
of our generation.
the one the prophecy foretold.
Yep.
He's one of our scientific prophets listed. You know, make sure to mention some of the other ones that we recognize. Nobody after our time, but you make sure to mention, like, I think he mentions Einstein or
Yeah, Einstein, Ronald Reagan. That's the end of the list.
Fran Drescher.
Yeah. So the chief engineer in this episode,
Argyle.
who's also very skeptical of Kaczynski. Yes, is Did they give his
Yeah.
first name?
Because Kaczynski is basically suggesting the homeopathy of warp engines.
Right.
And they're like, this is all just bullshit. It's like, no, man, trust me, it'll work.
It's just Argyle, right? They don't even give his first name, do they?
I saw his, let's see here. Chief Engineer Argyle. Let's see here. No, they don't give his name ever. Let's see.
He's played by.
They say that he's supposed to have a Scottish accent. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
He says "aye, Captain" at one point.
That's
But
true.
only when he's standing behind the transporter. When you're standing behind the transporter, you just become Scottish.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some kind of radiation or something.
And Argyle is like
Close.
is that a Scottish pattern too?
I don't know.
Or am I thinking of Tartan? Oh, he's played by Biff Yeager. And
Biff Yeager, yes.
He only appears in 2 episodes. This is he appeared in this one, and he helped to build lore or rebuild lore in an episode later this season. But he
seems to be one of the stock actors from what's his name? The guy from Ed Wood and Batman and Scissorhands.
He had a pretty
What's his name?
recurring role in Gilmore Girls too.
Uh-huh.
Does that resonate with you, Jan? Gilmore Girls?
No, I don't know that.
What about you?
I mean,
Bebarce?
Tim
Did you
Burton. He's in a
watch-
lot of Tim Burton movies.
Did you watch Gilmore Girls?
You know,
No.
I didn't, but it seems like everybody I know that typically wouldn't seem to be into that type of show has watched it. Like, I mean, I never watched the show, so I can't say what its content is, but it seems like your standard CW teenage girl drama.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like from an outside perspective, yet, you know, continually I find friends that, you know, are primarily into sci-fi, primarily into like, you know, zombie movies and everything like that, constantly referring back to Gilmore Girls. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to look into it.
Well, it's like it's pretty good. It's got very it's got this very distinctive writing where they just cram as many words as they can into an episode. Like they just talk really quickly. But I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but it
is more
uh,
than what its, you know, base image would
well,
make.
I mean, you know, if you're prejudiced, seems like you are, you know, like this has women in it. I hate this.
No, it just didn't seem like, you know, it seemed like something that I would see on ABC Family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Beneath
which
you.
I don't
understand.
have much interest in.
Yeah, like Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's an interesting fact about Biff Yeager. First of all, I mean, he's already the second chief engineer. He's replacing Sarah McDougal,
Right.
who, if you may recall, was the chief engineer in The Naked Now, and I'm assuming she got fired for letting Wesley take over the ship.
Either that or not being high enough.
I don't understand. Like,
Because everybody seemed like
She kind
they
of kept
were.
it together.
Yeah, she kept her shit together.
They're just
And then
like-
she
It's
when
too boring.
when they gave her the shot to cure her, she just seemed like annoyed. It's like, I don't need that. I've got this.
You remember Sarah McDougal much better than I do.
Because she was like, you know, she was like the one person in the entire crew that had her shit together. So yeah.
I
I
don't know.
have some more funny trivia. It's that lady who plays Picard's mother.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, a good actress. She also plays Chuck Norris's mother in the movie Top Dog,
Whoa,
which is an excellent,
big time. That's a big
excellent movie. Obviously, It's
Yeah. So is
Chuck
that
Norris versus white supremacists.
does
I
does
remember.
is there like a crime fighting dog in it too?
Obviously, yeah.
So-
It's Chuck Norris and a dog
Fighting white supremacists. Is it
fighting
pretty-
white supremacists.
It sounds like should be like a kids movie, but then like that's a pretty heavy
Yes.
topic.
It is.
It's when you need to introduce white supremacy to your kids. You know, like it's the best way to do it.
Start a frank conversation with your kids. All right, guys, let's put in the VHS tape. There's Chuck
You,
Norris.
you start off with that, then you maybe roll into an "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," so that way you get the musical piece into it, and then and then there you go.
This is what you're doing with your kids, Bebarce? I mean,
Yes, absolutely.
all right. Let's report back on how it goes. Let's see.
I thought that was actually a good scene.
What, with Picard's mother?
Yeah, but maybe it's because I'm getting older and have more life experience, and those kind of scenes then suddenly start to have a meaning.
I would say that this was my favorite episode of the series so far. So far, yeah. More so than Encounter at Farpoint. Everything else. This seemed like it fell much more into the the things that you love about Star Trek. This like unexplored spaces, little bit of sci-fi bullshittery. It really
It's fun, and the effects were good, right?
Yeah.
The effects are kind of quite unique, a little bit like 2001, but
yes,
quite beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
When they're shooting through all those stars and all those galaxies and stuff, that's nice.
Yeah, I always kind of wonder how they do that stuff, like in pre-computer times. You know, it's like anytime you see a special effect now, it's like, oh yeah, they just did an After Effects.
Computer,
But it's like they actually had to like do like physical things with like video and objects, and I just have no idea how they did it.
I think they probably used a motion control camera, but I'm just guessing. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Well, they had you know what? I saw this one recently. I saw this YouTube thing, and I'll send you guys a link to it later about how they used to capture stuff for computer animation, and it's just insane the amount of stuff that they would have to do. Like if they wanted to render a person into a computer, they would actually build a physical model of that person, then create several thousands of points onto that physical model, and then use like a light pen to mark each location on the thing, just to create like one character.
Yeah, but
and it was terribly rendered, but still
even that is like, I mean, it's all on a computer. Like it's just kind of wave your hand. It's like, oh, they did it in a computer. Like
even stuff as late as like Terminator 2, for example, still used a lot of just old-fashioned optical effects and the background projection and stuff.
Yeah.
Really, there's not a lot of CGI in that, and
like I don't even know how like an old-fashioned like green screen works, you know, like or blue screen, like Land of the Lost. That's like the worst special effects in the world. I don't even know how they did it. It's magic.
What year is that? Land of the Lost? I didn't see it.
It's like a 70s TV series.
Okay.
They're like
they rebooted it 1,000 times, but
yeah, no, there was like a remake and a Will Ferrell movie, but like the original. Check it on YouTube. It's good. Land of the Lost, original 70s. Like they go back in time to like dinosaur times, and they've got like claymation dinosaurs. Did you watch it, Bebarce?
There you go.
Yes.
It's probably with if it's with stop motion characters and matte paintings, then it's probably just background projection or foreground projection.
But like
when they,
But how does that work?
Well, you have the actors standing in front of basically like a movie screen, like you would see in a movie theater.
No, this is like blue screen stuff, like Weatherman.
Yeah, but like in Terminator 2, they still do it like that. It's still a projection, literally like a film projection behind the actors.
I don't know.
Of stop motion stuff.
Skeptical.
I think I remember
in the beginning.
I think I remember a lot more shows and movies related to people being stranded somewhere. Like that happened a lot more frequently in the shows of my youth. And so like that like was like on the forefront of your mind, like what would I do if I was stranded on an island or something like that, or stranded in space, or stranded in dinosaur lands and stuff like that.
Yeah, or stranded in the Delta Quadrant, like in
Voyager.
Is that where they were stranded, the Delta Quadrant?
Yes.
I can't believe I got that right. I just guessed.
Yeah, it's actually kind of the same. All of the entire story of Voyager is kind of like this one episode of Star Trek: Next Generation.
Yeah, there was actually like a sort of.
They just don't have the Traveler with them. So.
Some of the calculations they did was like it's going to take them like 300 years to get home, to go like X number of light years, and then they did the same kind of calculation in Voyager, and it would have taken like 7 times longer.
70 years, I think.
Yeah.
In Voyager, I think it takes them 70 years to get back at the maximum.
This would be a much better anecdote if I knew the actual specifics, but
I think it was 70,000 light years, and
I was like, well, they got something wrong. The details aren't important.
Yeah. Basically, it boiled down to the fact that at top speed, the Enterprise is apparently 9 times faster than the Voyager, if you're using their mathematics.
Got it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, Voyager is a much cheaper ship, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lame duck of space. What was I going to say? So just jumping back a little bit to some of the plot that happens when they travel. So basically, this traveler does this kind of like like he fades in and out of existence as they travel into these great distances. And the first time they jump like 2 galaxies away to galaxy M33. The second time, though, they jump to this point in space where thought is just as real as time and distance. So that apparently translates to people starting to hallucinate a lot and seeing the So just to give it, because I know that we talked about Picard's mom showing up, but I guess to explain why she's there and not that she actually is just a traveler on the outskirts of the universe. They also have a couple other fairly humorous imaginations, like Worf seeing his childhood pet. Which is basically just a warthog.
A swine. Yeah.
With a targ. A targ.
Right.
The Worf's targ was played by a Russian wild boar named Emilu.
And if you look, you'll have to Google it, but there are they refer to an alien dog in the original series, and they kind of did the same thing. They just took a peonies or whatever they're called, those tiny little dogs, and then just slapped horns on its head. And it was like, nope, this is a space dog.
Space dog. Why not?
By the way, is that a space cat?
No, that's just a regular cat. Because, like, are you talking about Tasha's cat?
Yeah.
I think she's human, right?
Yeah.
We had this
I guess she's just
conversation
living
before.
on some colony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really understand
Not a space cat,
why is she subject to rape gangs? There's
all these
backstory
roving
here.
rape gangs all over the place.
Space.
But like
That's just what happens in space.
It's just like a space problem.
Yep.
I don't know.
I like that she that when she referred back to it, she didn't get younger. You know what I mean? She was still the same age. So the rape gang thing didn't happen that long ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
It's feels like unnecessary. Like I don't know what they're trying to do with this character.
They kind of dropped that after a while, right?
I think it's sort of like informed her personality or something. Like she's like overcome.
That's
a lot
why she's
of,
tough.
Yeah, she's a tough woman. Because she's had to go through all these struggles, but like I don't know. Maybe this will reveal itself more. I feel like I'm missing some backstory here. That
right now it feels a little bit more like what I think they've referred to it as the head in the refrigerator. You know, this constant victimizing of a female on the show. It seems like they're just playing that up quite a bit.
I don't know what the head in the refrigerator means.
There's I'd have to hunt it down to find out the exact references, but there's this constant. I guess there's a constant. It happens regularly in both stories, comics, movies, and stuff like that, where it's the girlfriend's head the wife's head, the female character's head, is in a refrigerator, basically suggesting that they're constantly being put in as like victims in the show.
I don't know. Still completely baffling to me. This whole.
I'll have to look it up and come back more
All right.
coherently later on. I guess.
I don't know. This head in the refrigerator thing is really throwing me off a little bit here.
I found something very strange. I'm surfing IMDb, and a lot of those uncredited extras from this episode are in an episode of Webster called Web Trek. And it's about Webster dreams himself aboard the Starship Enterprise, where he explains the concept of feelings to Lieutenant Worf.
What? But
And it
Worf
has Michael
has
Dorn as
feelings.
the Worf.
Why, he should be explaining that to Data.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
weird.
I looked it up again. So
Fine.
they actually call it a syndrome. Sorry to jump back to it. But
No, it's all right. Let's just I don't want to.
you'll have
This
to-
is,
It's like
I think this is good pod.
so.
We're now, all of us are now completely all over the map.
I think we're on 3 different topics here. So we
All
got
right.
Webster, the head in the refrigerator, the rape gangs.
Do we all have ADD?
I mean,
Surprised.
I think I do.
Yeah, me too, probably.
Yeah, I'm still kind of messed up from watching Star Wars yesterday. So
Yeah, I saw Star Wars yesterday too.
yeah,
Yeah, have you
I
seen
didn't
it?
see it yet.
Okay, no spoilers.
No spoilers, guys.
nothing coming from me.
I'll just give you one spoiler. It's no, I'm just kidding.
No,
It's all the Ewoks all along.
it's all a dream.
That's what happens at the end. It's just,
Yeah,
Oops.
Kylo Ren pulls off the mask. It was an Ewok.
it was an Ewok. It was actually like
Knew it.
3 Ewoks standing on each other's shoulders.
Yeah, you could tell because
Say something funny. In Dutch, Vader actually means father. So
Yeah, it's
for me,
not-
it was no surprise that Darth Vader was Luke's father. He keeps saying father to him.
yeah, that was intentional, I think.
I'm like, yeah, obviously that's his father.
Yeah. So it was like, he was like, I am your Vader.
Yeah,
Like he just said his name.
yeah, Lord Father. I don't know.
So,
did you watch this? Did you watch any of these shows in another language?
You mean dubbed?
Yeah, either or.
Not Star Trek because it was only on the BBC. But for example, they showed The Simpsons for like a few episodes in Dutch, until there was like a revolt in the street and cars were on fire and stuff. And then they decided to just show it in English. But that's a really long time ago in the 90s. But normally in Dutch language territories they show it with subtitles, and in French and German and Spanish areas in Europe they will dub it.
yeah, it's strange. Some
Like in Germany, Star Trek is definitely in German.
some
And
countries,
those actors are actually kind of famous. Like those dub actors are quite famous.
yeah, some countries prefer dubbing and some countries prefer subtitling. It's weird.
Yeah. In Belgium, because half of Belgium is French language, you can choose if you want to see a movie in French dubbing or in original language with subtitles.
Like in the theater, or just like when you're
Yeah,
purchasing?
in the theater you can choose what you want.
It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Not with everything, but especially like with animation, because a lot of kids go to see it and they don't have time, or they can't read the subtitles yet. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do they have separate theaters, or do they give you like
No.
the like
You
the
just have that
device?
choice when you get the ticket.
Oh, okay. Because here we have like closed captioning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they give you a device or something.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So, Argyle, another fun fact about Argyle. He was actually being considered for the role of chief engineer on a permanent basis, but according to Will Wheaton, and this is just a rumor, but apparently he started like a letter writing campaign to get the role, and it really put everybody off. So that's ultimately why he didn't get it.
No. Yeah, I can imagine.
Producers began receiving letters encouraging that the what's his name? Biff Yeager.
Biff.
Fantastic name.
I bet he hates the manure.
What's that? Oh, manure.
Like
Yeah.
all beefs do.
Yeah, I got it. It was slow on the uptake there.
It's not a callback to the farming I was talking about. It's a callback to Back to the Future.
Have you been using manure in your farming?
Not yet. I want to,
But you will.
For some reason,
I imagine at some point he's going to have to. Right?
Yeah.
I would like to use it, but we're not allowed to buy it until February for some reason.
Whoa.
This is sure. This is very fascinating.
Is that your like
It's the law.
becoming your profession now though? Like farmer? Like that doesn't seem like something you could do on the side easily.
No, I wish I would love to do that, but no, it's just in the weekend, just for fun. But we do eat. We eat from our farm.
It's very.
Now we have a small, just very small.
It's very hip, very now, like locally sourced, farm to
I don't
table.
know, but it's fun.
Yeah.
You're going to
And
have to
it's
include pictures.
It's nice
of,
to not sit behind a computer, you know.
And you're doing like a
If you're-
cookbook too, right? So are you doing like farm to table recipes and like tips on how to grow food and then eat it?
Well, if you can read Chinese, then my wife's blog is all about that. Yeah.
I can't read
Jan's
Chinese.
farm is going to have to make a appearance in your little like montage image that you have for each episode. You're going to have a picture of his farm in there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
can you take a picture of you with your
Yeah,
farm
I can send you some
with
pictures.
like with a pitchfork? Do you have a pitchfork? like a
I do,
like,
Like
like
an
a
American
piece of
Gothic.
yeah, or like a piece of like straw hanging out of your mouth.
All right.
If you
Yeah.
can recreate American Gothic with your wife,
That's a
that
good
would be
idea.
Fantastic.
All right, that will be for next.
We'll put like
next
a stupid Photoshop filter on it to make it look like a painting. All right, we don't. It's up to you, but you have to do it.
All right.
It's a requirement.
I have another fun fact, by the way. If you guys can recall,
Let's hear it.
the crew member that was hallucinating that he was part of a string quartet.
Yes.
Right.
The actor that portrayed that crew member is named Byron Berline.
Ah,
So
Nice.
there's Byron.
Another plan.
Another Byron in there. Had to throw that in.
I think your parents probably watched this episode. And they
Yeah,
were
I
really
mean,
impressed by that.
I was born in 1981. And this
They were
episode
hoping that you
aired
would join.
1987. So
Fun Fun fact: the traveler who said his name is unpronounceable by humans, that name is Bebarce.
I can pronounce Bebarce. See? Just did it.
Maybe you are slightly above human.
Are
I'm
you
just
sure
saying. I'm
it's
throwing that out there.
not Bebarce?
Babarch and El Tahibi.
About Is that like it's like it could be like a Latin thing? Like a
I mostly get Barbies for some reason.
it's a bad guess.
Maybe because you have a beard. In
Yeah,
French, it's
Beer de Barce.
Beard
Barbies.
bars.
Beard bars.
All right, so what is the head? What is the head in the refrigerator? Now I'm curious.
Okay, let me read. I'm gonna just read it straight off. Oh no, I skipped. I traveled away from it. Looking for
Can you
American
remember
Gothic.
it from? Can you paraphrase?
Paraphrase. It's not gonna be much better than.
Is this like a TV trope thing?
No, I think it's a comic book trope.
Oh.
Basically, there was a long string of comic books that the hero, the male hero, would come back and find his wife's head and body in a refrigerator, and like they actually refer to. Let's see here, body. It's a woman in a refrigerator syndrome. They actually call it a syndrome. Women in refrigerators. Like there's a whole wiki on it. Women in refrigerator syndrome. The term describes the use of or the death or injury of female comic book characters as a plot device in a story starring a male comic book character. It's also used to note the depowerment or elimination of female comic book characters. So it's kind of like this routine.
Okay, so I think I get it. So it's a common occurrence
Yes.
of female characters becoming sort of disempowered, and it's named for one particular instance of that happening.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, but
Got
it
it.
happens in just like if you look at the new, even like they say like the newest they just get the shit beaten out of them, constantly.
Yeah, I'm still feel like this is not applicable to this.
You don't think so? I mean, in the first few episodes, she was, kidnapped, drugged, beaten. She is now portrayed being escaping from a rape gang. She was forced to fight. It seems a little bit de-empowering for her. She's supposed to be like the head,
right.
chief security.
So it's sort of like putting her within this context of sort of being disempowered through her gender, kind of like being put in this position.
There were no rape gangs chasing after Worf.
Right, and us as the audience being reminded of that for no particular reason, sort of, even though she's portrayed ostensibly as a powerful character, we're reminded that fundamentally, according to like sort of the dated ethos and perhaps somewhat infantile imagination of the authors of this episode, she's fundamentally weaker for being a woman, and we're reminded of that due to the rape gang.
And I mean, let's just not throwing a spoiler alert out there for our future episodes, but I mean, I'll read this line: female characters have been likelier to be casually but irreparably wounded or killed, often in a sexualized fashion. So
messed up.
Yeah.
Huh. The guy who plays the Traveler has just been in a short film last year, and he plays Dr. Bill Traveler.
Do you think he has traveler's insurance?
Maybe he's just being really specifically typecast. We need a guy who can play some kind of time traveler.
He has a website.
How about Eric Menuk?
For his law firm. Have you guys seen it?
Oh, really?
Let's see if I can find it.
What's the link?
It's site.menyuklaw.com.
All right. Site dot?
Menyuk, like MENYUK law.com. It's got a nice wood panel background.
Oh, it looks very different. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Damn.
My understanding is that he has a child with some developmental disabilities, and that sort of inspired him to get into this very particular area of law, kind of advocating for children's educational rights and things like that. So, good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that it says coming soon on his website. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, like in the 90s, you go to a website and it's always like under construction. It's never quite going to be done because
some GIFs.
I haven't added the counter yet, the hit counter, and I need a list of links to my favorite other websites.
It does have a kind of 1993 or 4 vibe about it. This website.
Yeah. It's, do either of you need?
You can tell he cared about kids because of his interactions with Wesley on the Enterprise.
Yeah. There was something almost a little bit like preternatural about it, like a little bit of like, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he seemed to have like a little bit too much affection for the boy, as they
were bonding over their terrible sweaters.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, I wrote that down also, that Wesley has a really beautiful sweater in this episode.
And he has a terrible sweater onesie on, which had to be the most uncomfortable piece of fashion any of them have had to wear.
Do you think that Wesley got to keep that sweater? I mean, Will Wheaton. Wesley Wheaton.
This guy, the lawyer, also played a pizza guy on Night Court, which is a show that Brent Spiner is also on. So maybe at some point they were just rivals for a long time.
Yeah, I actually...
They're always after the same role.
I would really like to do a Night Court podcast.
I've never seen it, but it seems that a lot of Star Trek actors were in it.
It's really good. It's like...
Yeah?
It's transcendent. Bebarce, did you watch Night Court?
Absolutely. Judge Harry T. Stone.
Yeah. He hasn't aged very well. If you Google him, he's sort of.
Let me look him up.
There's always like maybe
This is the IMDb podcast, actually.
It's like,
I actually read his book, Harry Anderson's, when I was a kid.
Is that the one that is mentioned in Homestuck?
Probably.
Remember,
Yeah, actually.
it was like early in Homestuck. There was like, I don't know if you ever read Homestuck.
I did. For the most, I read up to the point where they. I don't know if I want to spoil or there's a up until the scratch, I believe.
Okay.
Like, or shortly after the scratch. Yeah.
It was called like what was it called? Like Wise Guy. It was called Wise Guy.
Let me pull this.
By Harry Anderson.
Let's see here. I think it was Games You Can. No, A Guide for Suckers. No, I'm looking up. I can't remember. It was written by his friend describing all the different shenanigans that guy got into.
It's gotta be Wise Guy.
And
No?
the only thing I remember about it specifically was how he played. He conned like 5 chess masters into tying them by he would let the first guy move, and then like he would let them all go, and then he would like play
The last guy's move.
exactly.
That's smart. It's a clever
So
trick.
that he tied off against these guys because he'd have them competing against each other basically.
Yeah. His career never really survived the 80s. Like, I think he had he played he was on the show Dave's World,
Right.
where he played Dave Barry, a famous columnist. But after that, he just kind of vanished. I think he's ripe for a comeback, to be honest. We'll do like a letter writing campaign to get him back into the show business.
Let's see here. He's put on he's got some pudge to him now.
Yeah, he let himself go, like pretty bad.
I don't know. I mean, just based off of Google image searches, it's not so bad. I mean, it's not Val Kilmer bad.
He was like a big time like advocate of New Orleans, like he lived down there, but I think he like abandoned it after Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, that makes sense.
Is this like is that slander to say that? Like I don't know if I can prove it.
I wouldn't argue his reasoning for leaving.
Yeah, but like you would think he would stick around to like try to help rebuild the community, you know?
I guess maybe. I mean, what is he going to do? Use night court money?
Yeah.
There's only so much heroes out there. I mean, Sean Penn showed up in his rowboat, so he had the place covered. Yeah. So
This is a tragedy. We shouldn't be talking about this. Bebarce, come on. Why did you bring that up?
wait a minute. What?
God, so insensitive. All right, so I think we pretty much covered this episode, right? Is there anything we left out
pretty much.
here?
They got back.
It was actually, I mean, I thought it was a really good episode. There wasn't a lot that happened in it, which is fine. It's just like,
Yeah.
it was very succinct. I thought the hallucinations were pretty cheesy, and I thought that whole part of the episode was pretty thin, like poorly explained. Like, okay, it's visually interesting. Maybe there's not much to happen if you're just sitting at the edge of the universe. I didn't really buy that would happen. I couldn't really tell if, in all cases, the hallucinations were shared or not. And sometimes it seemed like people could see other people's hallucinations, and sometimes it seemed like they couldn't.
I think thought in that area of the universe can create reality.
Right.
So like, thought and reality are not separate. So
Which is like, I mean, I think it's an interesting metaphysical idea wherein like, okay, we're sort of creating the universe with our thoughts.
right.
In our experience of the universe, we create the universe. And like,
Did you read the original teleplay description?
oh yeah. Yeah, that was really good.
That was interesting.
So basically, the idea was that the hallucinations were going to be a lot more vivid, right?
Right.
And
so they end up meeting both Picard and Crusher end up encountering Crusher's deceased husband. And
Jack.
The other big thing about it was that when they travel to that area, they're like in some kind of cosmological egg. And when they escape the egg, it creates a new universe. Yeah. So they basically suggest that Picard is God.
Yeah, and there was like a quote biblical pun at the end of the episode. The Enterprise was missing for 6 days, and then Picard orders the next day to be a day of rest. And I'm pretty sure actually that happened in like Red Dwarf at some point. Like somehow Lister created another universe.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Do any of you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
No.
Jan, I would highly recommend watching Rick and Morty.
I know there are so many things I need to watch.
This is it's pretty fantastic. I mean, at one point though, that I bring it up because at one point, Rick, the doctor from that show, creates a pocket universe and has all of its inhabitants like pumping like one of those stepper machines to generate energy so that he can fuel like his car battery.
Is it animated show or?
Yeah, it's an animated show. It's based off of, and it ties back to our constant references to Back to the Future because it's basically instead of Doc and Marty, it's Rick and Morty. And
cool.
Yeah, only
It looks a bit
to
like it.
Yeah, Jan, I would move it to the top of the list. It's a good one.
Yeah, but that farm isn't gonna farm itself.
You know what you should do? Abandon the farm.
Those carrots aren't gonna harvest themselves.
You should salt the earth so nothing will grow again, and then watch Rick and Morty. No problem.
All right.
If you want me to talk to your wife about letting you watch Rick and Morty, I can. We can. Okay.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out after this.
It's okay. You don't have to. Who cares?
No, I'm still requiring it.
Just do what you know what? Do what you want with your life. It's your time.
Thanks.
You've earned it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I think we should call it.
Right.
What do you think? We can only do damage from here, right?
Yeah. I can't give much of a pitch because my website's currently down.
Oh.
It's going to be down for a while. So.
Jeez, man, you blew it. What's going on?
Yeah, they turned off my site for 1 day. Anyway, they turned off my site for 1 day, and I got it back up like the next day, but they had deleted the databases that populated my site, and they're like, nope, non-recoverable. So they're all gone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
It's a valuable life lesson in so much as that the universe hates us all and is indifferent to our suffering.
Yes.
Yes. Jan, anything to plug, mention to the millions of listeners?
Do you want to plug that farm?
Plug the farm. Plug it.
Yeah. Well, if you live in Ghent, you can have a look at our farm.
Be careful. You could have a lot of people popping into
Jan
your
will
farm.
be.
I'm sure there's a
be
big
found on the side of the road selling fresh eggs and beets. So
Yep. That's
all
right.
those listeners out there, be sure to check that out.
Yeah, I'll plug the latest episode of the Alpha podcast. Alpha's back in pod form, episode 4. This one we recorded with Tam instead of Mike being Swabek, but Nick Carey was involved again too, so that was fun.
Nice.
I think it's been listened to twice so far. Doing well.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I will.
Oh man, you should check it out. It's half decent.
I haven't listened to the last episode, but I have been listening in the past.
Well,
I like
again, you guys should do what you want with your time, but I'm like no pressure for anything, you know.
Maybe you could do a farming podcast, and I will immediately download it.
I would be really good at that. Like, you know, you water some plants and get some seeds.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
The closest I've come to farming recently is I threw some green onions, like the roots of a green onion, into a Dixie cup, and like I regrew green onions. I was like, this is a miracle.
It's mad science.
Yeah.
Now I have free green onions for the rest of my life. This is wonderful.
Yep.
Now you know. Now you get what
Amazing, right?
Jan is going through every day of his life. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. This has been a blast.
It's been a hoot.
A laugh riot.
Thank you.
And we'll tune in. We'll do it again real soon.
Watch out for those rape gangs.
Let's kind of talk about rape a little bit less in the next episode. I hope.
Dial it down a little.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye. Bye.